All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. We're dealing with a little bit of challenge right now. No big deal. It's a Simply Cyber production. So we kind of rock through it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Thursday, February 13th, 2025. This is episode 813 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. And I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger. And over the next hour, me, you, not only IT, Julio Alarcon, of course, Nerman, Flakeanator, Study GRC, LFG, you got it right, Brian Peak, Martell Williams, DJ Bisek behind the glass, Gary Sergiotis, so hot right now, you got it, Gary.
That Hansel's so hot right
Guys,
now.
we are all going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and even if it's not a cyber story, I am going to, craft magic up here and actually find some type of cyber lesson to teach you or to share with you, with the ultimate goal of setting you up for success in job interviews or helping you at your current job deliver cybersecurity risk reduction for your business stakeholders. All right, guys. I got a little not distracted, but just as a quick programming note, the Simply Cyber Firesides with Ross tonight was misscheduled for 8 a.m. this morning, conflicting obviously with this podcast. We are going to get that sorted out, but we're here live right now on the Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast, 8 a.m. every weekday morning, and this will be at 4:30 like it always is. So don't you worry, we got you covered. Now, listen, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including episode 813, is worth... Wait. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. I almost spoiled the surprise. Listen, I don't research or prep for any of these shows. I got to tell you, I feel like I've only... my coffee hasn't kicked in yet. I've got the big boy cup today, double fisting the coffee. So we're going to get this machine up and running. That is my brain. I promise you. Super excited, guys. If you're regular here, drop a hashtag Team SC in chat. Whoa, Flakeanator with an update. Wanted to announce that I accepted an offer for an IT audit analyst this week. Start the beginning of March in cyber. 2 years journey, success. Thank you, Flakeanator. Simply Cyber community, join me in celebrating Flakeanator's boom, breaking in.
I came in like a rainbow.
Heck yeah. I know it's been a long road, Flakeanator, and 2 years is forever. But, dude, I am so happy for you. Way to friggin' go. Awesome. See, people, just follow. Dude, just put the work in. Follow the steps. I guarantee you it is there. It's just, got to uncover it. Guys, we got a great show for you. I am super excited. It is Thursday, which means only one thing. It's Dan Reardon's What's Your Meme Thursday. He's got a banger today. Spoiler alert. It's not me today. Usually I'm the meme. Today we've got a guest target, if you will, for Dan. So it's going to be good. Let's just do the ads really quickly. And when I come back, I'm going to tell you how this show can solve your CPE problems. Let's go ads. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Hero support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. Do you want cutting-edge, high-quality cybersecurity education regardless of financial position? Check this out. I want to give some love and some praise to Anti-Siphon training powered by Black Hills Information Security. Anti-Siphon training is absolutely disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by providing high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone regardless of financial position. They bring industry professionals with years and years of experience into the classroom to teach you and anyone else who's interested practical skills that are in demand in the the market today. And on top of that, the student experience is amazing as you and hundreds or thousands in some instances of other students are actively engaging, networking, sharing tips, tricks, and experiences with each other all live in the classroom. Go to antisyphontraining.com, check out their course calendar to see what courses they have coming up next. You won't regret it. What's up, Simply Cyber? You know what keeps CISOs up at night? The unknown. Those exposed assets and leaked creds floating around the dark web that you don't even know about? Well, that's where Flare steps in. Think of Flare as your organization's amazing threat hunting capability, continuously scanning both clear and dark web for exposed enterprise assets, leaked secrets, and even compromised credentials being sold in private channels. Their cutting-edge platform, powered by transparent, generative AI, prioritizes real threats so your team can take immediate action. Stop playing catch-up with threat actors. Get ahead with Flare's threat exposure management capability. Don't take my word for it. Visit try.flare.io/simplycyber and try it for yourself. I do want to point out, I sent everybody in chat. I pinned it actually on chat if you want. Anti-Siphon's actually doing that 4-day training with John Strand. He has 3 different courses. They all kind of roll into each other. So it's, you know, if you want, you take all 3. But here's the kicker. It's pay what you can, including $0. John Strand himself will strongly encourage you to click that $0 option. If you're looking to get into information security or cyber, if you are looking to break in, if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to pivot into cybersecurity, this is an absolute no-brainer. Take advantage of this. John Strand, wonderful person. This course, wonderful course. The price point, can't beat it. It's $0. Like, it's just short of them paying you to take the course. You feel me? All right, guys. I got to tell you, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot, hashtag TeamSC if you're looking what to do. Maybe you want to be like this anonymous person over on LinkedIn who said, good morning, 2/13/2025. Oh, CPE for Micah Yeagley, no longer anonymous. So, you know, you can do it that way. Take a screenshot. Brian White, hashtag TeamSC. Grab a screenshot. I see Malware Trini's in here. Malware Trini recently got the wrecking ball sound effect. Guys, file it away. Your screenshot's going to have a timestamp on it because it's a file, right? Grab a screenshot and then, you know, once a year, count up your screenshots, divide by 2 or multiply by 0.5, and you're got that many CPEs. And Kayla Sturgeon did the math. It's 120 CPEs, just about. So, you know, most certification bodies require you to get 40 a year and 120 in total over a 3-year period. You can absolutely eviscerate that CPE requirement just with this show alone. And I'm telling you guys, like, seriously, getting CPEs when you need them, it really does suck to do like an hour webinar on like identity governance, which is a GRC thing. So I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying if that's not what you want to do, you know, you don't want to do that. All right, do me a favor, everybody. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over all of us in an awesome way.
It's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Thursday, February 13th, 2025. I'm Sarah Lane.
Right.
In today's cybersecurity news, in a post on foreign policy published Wednesday, security.
Jason said, do we just screenshot the show? Here's the thing, Jason, your chat, right? Your chat is in the show itself, right? I don't, here's the thing, just to be crystal clear. I don't make you register to come to this show. I don't take attendance, right? So it's incumbent upon you to demonstrate that you're here. If you're ever audited, you will have forensically sound evidence to support that you were here for 40 episodes and you're claiming 20 CPs. You'll have 40 screenshots and your name will be right there, like Bruce S., Team SC, Bethany Paul, boom. Just like that. It's easy as that. Oh, okay. Thank you. Nightbot has a little thing here. You can see Nightbot talking about CPEs and how to get them. Thank you, DJ BSEC. All right. Remember, not a political show, everybody.
Technologists Bruce Schneier and Davi Ottenheimer warned that the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as Doge, which accessed critical U.S. government systems, including the Treasury and personnel databases, compromising sensitive data and dismantling security protocols, may be the most consequential security breach in U.S. history. Despite a block from a federal judge on February 8th against the Doge team from accessing the Treasury Department systems any further, questions remain about what damage has been done in various government departments, like introducing severe national security risks and potential vulnerabilities to foreign adversaries. Schneier warns media actions are needed to revoke access, restore monitoring, and audit all changes to secure the compromised systems.
All right. Now, remember, not a political show. All right. So, what I want to point out is two things. Number one, this story, I may have just skipped it, but the author is Bruce Schneier and Davey Ottenheimer. Now, I'm not familiar with Davey Ottenheimer, but Bruce Schneier, if you guys don't know Bruce Schneier, he is, he's like a really, really OG industry practitioner. He's known for his privacy and cryptography type stuff. He is got a blog called Schneier on security that's pretty well known. He does speak at conferences like Black Hat, DEF CON, various things like that. He's very thoughtful, and he's like a public interest technologist, and he just got a lot of really interesting things. He's like one of those guys who's been around a long time, and he just has some thoughtful comments or posts, and he'll support them and have like intelligent conversations or debates about things. So I just wanted to let everyone know, because if you're an old timer, you definitely know Bruce Schneier, but if you're a newcomer or you're Gen Z or whatever, you may not have known about him, but that's what's up. The other thing I want to talk about is in this story, it points out a couple different supporting facts around why he's making the claim that this could be the most consequential security breach in history. Not to talk about Doge itself, but one of the things they talk about is somebody in the CIA or somebody on the Doge team got access to employee names or CIA operatives or whatever. I don't know who the employees were or what their facet was, right? It could be someone who works in the cafeteria at Langley, or it could be like, Ethan Hunt. I don't know. But the point here is that somebody took sensitive information and transmitted it across unclassified email. So I'm assuming classified email across unclass email. And I just wanted to use this as a point for everybody to remember and educate. It's very, very easy for people to vacuum up a bunch of data and then send it. And unfortunately, sometimes you can unsend it, but for the most part, once the horse has left the barn, you're kind of screwed. So if you do have sensitive information, like for example, blueprints, right? Or financial forecasting models, or it could be something temporal, like a medical institution of a great size is looking to acquire 4 rural hospitals. Well, if they're acquiring 4 rural hospitals from another, health system, guess what?
Straight cash, homie.
It's like buying anything else. There's a price tag, there's negotiations, and both sides are trying to get the best value. So sending out, or you're going through a divorce or whatever, like sending out insider information around your argument, your position or whatever can completely compromise your positioning. So just be mindful when you're educating your staff around dissemination of information and proper channels of doing it. Secondly, if you do have sensitive information, don't just send a blast out to the entire workforce, because there's a diffusion of responsibility kind of phenomenon that happens. You need to literally go to the Tiger team that is doing the negotiations, the war room that they've set up for handling what this acquisition is going to look like, and go speak to them directly. So it hits more. So it's like, oh, he's talking to me, right? that's all I'll say. And then be aware, like crap like this happens. So if you're looking, say you've done like 1,000 ransomware tabletops and your business stakeholders, your workforce are like, please, bro, we get it. Ransomware. Ugh. If you're looking for like a new kind of fun alternative tabletop scenario, may I introduce you to you've accidentally attached a spreadsheet with everybody's information and sent it out to whomever. That's a usual one. Also, sometimes you're supposed to put everybody on BCC so you don't dox people, and people will accidentally put it on the 2 line or the CC line, and boom, you're off and running. So that's another kind of like situation where it's less technical. Yeah, sure, we can hit the clawback button in Exchange and kind of claw these things back. But if some of them have already been delivered, right? If they're using, what is it, BSEC, IMAP, where it puts a local instance on your device when you pull it. I think that's IMAP. You've got some leakage there. So what do we do? What is the protocol? This is more for a business and executive team tabletop exercise. Like, what's the plan? We've got this issue. Do we send out another email? Do we try to claw back? How? And then you could bring the technical team in and say, do you know how to claw back? Do you know how to tell who opened what email or the email? So you send it to 20,000 people. You clawed back 19,500. Can you quickly tell me who the 500 were that opened it? Can you tell me if they're insider employees or if they're external people or they're vendors or whatever? Like, that's a really nice little chef's kiss tabletop to kind of mix it up a little bit, right? It is Valentine's Day tomorrow here in the United States. Perhaps you want to get your executive team a little I love you note. Nothing says I love you like a data breach tabletop exercise, huh? Am I right?
Wired and 404 Media jointly report Lithuanian ad tech company Eskamai was the source of sensitive location data on U.S. military personnel overseas, which was sold by Florida-based data broker DataStream Group. The data included precise coordinates from devices at U.S. military sites in Germany and was collected through SDKs in mobile apps. U.S. Senator Ron Wyden's office raised national security concerns, contacting Eskamai, Lithuania's data protection authority, and also Google, which listed Eskamai as an authorized buyer. The Lithuanian DPA is assessing the situation, and Eskamai could face penalties under GDPR if found in violation. Following up.
All right, I don't understand. Like, this stinks. It's like, okay, so this is a major story. Unfortunately, the Wired story is behind like a paywall, so you can't really look at it. But essentially, data brokers.
Straight cash, homie.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Data's the new gold. Okay, so data brokers have this information, and you got to remember, what do data brokers do? They collect data, and what do they do with it? They sell it. It's all about
straight cash, homie.
It's all about straight cash, homie. And depending on how discerning you are as a business, if you are profit driven and all about that sweet, sweet cash, you'll sell it to whoever. This company straight up selling it, I guess, to whoever wants it. Here's the thing. I think they said it doesn't say selling it overseas or not. It talks about overseas people, like a Lithuanian company. I mean, sensitive data. Hold on. It names sensitive data on U.S. military members from a Lithuanian company. So the Lithuanian company has the data. A Florida-based data broker acquired it, and they know about where these military people are. Now, again, we've seen this in the past. This is kind of a national security issue. We've seen this in the past. A fitness tracking app back in 2018, Strava, was able, people were able to buy the data and like out of the middle of nowhere. Hold on. This is what's a problem. In the middle of a nowhere desert in the Middle East, you were able to buy data and basically see. Hold on. This is a good example. Oh, this was in the Middle East. I'm sorry. This is like, looks like it's near Somalia in Africa. But look at this. Oh, wait, this isn't it. God damn. Sorry, I'm doing this again. I don't prep or research for the show. But I was hoping this would actually work. Here we go. Open image, new tab. There we go. So you could see these heat maps showing these little bases popping up in the middle of the deserts, right? So this information was able to inform whoever wanted to buy the data or look at the data that there was, in fact, these military bases. And then if you zoomed in on the data, you could even go one step further and actually see the like the base layout. Okay, because it's literally, this was a fitness app to map your, you go for a run, you want to keep track of how many miles you're running. Oh, hey, DJ BSEC, I found a great hiking trail. Check it out. And you map it, right? The problem is it was like literally mapping the entire perimeter and the inside structures of a military base. And you could see by the brighter lines what things were more frequented, right? So, like, just as a quick thing, one, I found the base. Two, if I was going to attack this base or try to infiltrate it, it looks like this back top right corner is the least frequented of the entire perimeter of the base. So, that would be an interesting place to penetrate. All going back to the point that this data, while it seems benign and by itself not a big deal, it can be enriched with other data and then weaponized by foreign governments and, adversaries who are looking to do bad. For better or worse, this is, capitalism, and this is data brokerage. So unfortunately, this is kind of the downside of it. Now, senators are getting involved to figure out where the information came from, how's it sensitive, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see where it goes. I do want to point out, I guess today is the day about individuals because we talked about Bruce Schneier a minute ago. This is Joseph Cox. Joseph Cox used to be over at Motherboard and like under the Gawker Media, and that whole thing imploded. But 404 Media, I just want to let everybody know, I really like 404 Media. Joseph Cox and I think it's two other journalists founded 404 Media on their own, basically so they could control what stories that they did want to cover instead of having an editor tell them what they will cover and not cover. So shout out to 404 Media and shout out to Joseph Cox. He's also done some great work. I forget, he's written a book, I believe, that's pretty dope. Somebody fact check me on that. I'm like, hold on, I'll just fact check myself. Okay, he wrote Dark Wire. I don't know Dark Wire. I can't speak to that one. I don't know. Let me know in chat if anyone's read Dark Wire. Oh, Fleetus posting with the gifted subs. Thank you, Fleetus. Very nice of you. Kind. If you're one of the people, Jeffrey Spear getting a gifted sub from Fleetus. I used to work with Jeffrey Spear. What's up, Jeffrey?
From our reporting last week, Apple and Google both removed 20 apps from their app stores after security researchers at Kaspersky discovered they contained malware called Sparkcat since as early as March of 2024. The malware has been downloaded over 242,000 times, used optical character recognition to scan image galleries for cryptocurrency wallet recovery phrases and other personal information. Google banned the developers and confirmed that its Play Protect feature safeguarded users from known malware versions. Apple did not comment.
Okay, so I don't know how this happened. The story is 3 days old, but like I really feel like we already covered this story. But it wasn't yesterday, and this is a bit of a cyber story, so worth pointing out. Let me give you guys some value right now. Number one, just because Apple has the walled garden for its apps doesn't mean that malware can't get in there. It's just less likely. Just like Linux operating system can have malware run on it, it's just less likely than Windows, okay? Obviously, Google, Android and the Google Play Store, you can get malware in there. So you got to be careful about that. I like, honestly, I think you have a much higher chance of getting malware in Android than you do in Apple. So that's just a fact. Guys, it's a bit of a long play getting these apps in there because you basically have to get, validated as a developer. and then get an app written and then put it in the store itself, get it checked. I know Apple and Google actually do some type of source code scanning or, binary scanning to look to see if the applications are malicious in intent. But you got to remember what needs to happen to check that. And then the argument to be made about whether or not it is malware. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Say you have Grammarly, right? Very popular application. Grammarly looks at what you type and then makes suggestions, not like a spell check, but more like tone check. Like, hey, you're kind of a peckerhead in this text message. Maybe you should tone it down a little bit, right? Like that's Grammarly. Well, Grammarly is basically a keylogger, right? Because it's going to copy everything you write and send it to a server to be analyzed. The analysis isn't happening on your device. Your device is basically a stupid thin client. And then send you back suggestions from the Grammarly server. Hey, I love that so much. People pay $20 a month for that service. It's a keylogger. If I write a piece of software called, Slammerly, right? Let's make a riff on Grammarly. I come up with an app called Slammery, and it does the same thing. Well, in addition to making suggestions to make the tone of your text message more appealing to your audience, it also makes a copy of what you're typing. It also makes sure to, capture every keystroke, including passwords, right? So it's not possible for Google and Apple to have an absolute 100% bulletproof verification process for malware because, malware is just software that has malicious intent. Malware, I know we like to make malware look like it's got fangs and, fuzzy growth spurts and, it's nasty looking and software has like a halo and stuff. That's not the case. A handgun, same thing. A handgun can protect your house or it could also commit an armed robbery. It's not the gun. It's not the software. It's the intent of how it is weaponized. So just, be mindful. Again, as always, educate your end users not to download stuff from stupid places because that's a surefire way to get yourself infected. This was the actual Google Play Store and App Store. So even if you educate your end users to only download from official authorized resources, they could still get punched in the mouth. All right. I'm not saying I'm mad at anti-gun folks, right? I'm not, gun, anti-gun, it doesn't matter. It's just a tool, right? All right, so let's go.
To a Google Threat Intelligence Group report, adversarial governments are increasingly leveraging cyber criminals and their tools to advance cyber espionage goals, fueled by resource constraints and the operational demands of conflicts like the war in Ukraine. The trend is also observed in China, Iran, and North Korea, where state-sponsored attackers can utilize malware and techniques commonly associated with cyber criminals to enhance deniability and cost efficiency. Google and other cybersecurity firms warn that this growing overlap between state actors and cyber criminals poses a significant national security threat worldwide.
Okay, just hold on. I know that this story looks like, like the boogeyman, right? Okay, so first of all, let's just be real. The United States also taps not active cyber criminals because they will get arrested and brought to justice, but I guess rehabilitated cyber criminals. Kevin Mitnick helped the United States, the guy from Catch Me If You Can, not Leonardo DiCaprio, but the guy he was based on. Department of Treasury, Secret Service, they tapped that dude, right? So this is not like unprecedented waters. This has always been the case. Now, because it's U.S. adversaries, it gets a little hotter, right? It gets a little spicier. Spicy! But guys, all this is, if we strip this down and look past the splashy headlines and the splashy text being used, all this is outsourcing to private sector entities, government work, right? If the U.S. government needs help with some type of military operation, they might tap private armies like Blackwater, I think. Like there's private armies out there, mercenaries. Okay, so like it's just this is Mercenaries except with keyboards, right? The keyboard cowboy dancing across the internet or the information superhighway, right? So this is a real thing, guys. Here's the reality. If you're a cyber criminal, you know how to commit cybercrime, write malicious software, achieve your goals, typically for financial gain.
Straight cash, homie.
But if you think about the cyber kill chain, recon, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, persistence mechanism, C2, it's all the same. It's the actions on objective that matters, right? It's like all the steps, whether you're trying to steal international secrets or you're trying to eavesdrop on an adversary or you're trying to make sweet, sweet cash, the process all the way through before you do actions on objective is kind of the same. You can do it different ways. You can send a phishing email. You can drop a malicious USB. You can steal someone's laptop. Whatever it is, it's when you get to the end and like, what is the point of what you're doing? That's where it's realized. And that's why tapping these private sector individuals is popular. And, you know, it shouldn't come as a surprise, right? Plus, guys, let's be real. I hate to say this too, but like, this has been happening for quite some time. The reason that threat actors love to set up their bases and their infrastructure in Eastern Europe is because they have what's called bulletproof hosting. I did like a 5-minute diatribe on this, I think Monday, right? And it's not like, ooh, Russia's evil. It's like Russia will not, spend resources sending law enforcement to go shut down these bulletproof hosting situations inside Eastern European data centers because it's not a threat to Russia. Those cyber criminals are not attacking Russian businesses, Russian government, etc. They're actually attacking U.S. adversaries, and this has been going on for years. So, whatever, splashy headline, but like if you peel this back, this is like, this is standard operating procedure.
Thank you to today's episode sponsor, Vanta. Do you know the status of your compliance controls right now? Like this very second? We know that real-time visibility is critical for security, but when it comes to our GRC programs, we rely on point-in-time checks. But more than 9,000 companies have continuous visibility into their controls with Vanta. Vanta brings automation to evidence collection over 35 frameworks like SOC2 and ISO 27001. They also centralize key workflows like policies, access reviews, and reporting. And Vanta helps you get security questionnaires done 5 times faster using AI. Now that's a new way to GRC. Get started at vanta.com/headlines. Science.
All right. I just want to point out quickly, Vanta is a sponsor for CISO series, not simply cyber. Just really quick, very specific delineation there. All right. Speaking of sponsors, thank you to the stream sponsors who enable me to bring this show to you, to bring Simple Minds to you. Vanta, whatever. I don't care. So, shout out to Anti-Siphon and John Strand, Zach Hill over there, Kathy Chambers, Daniel Lowry, the whole squad. Always good times. Threat Locker, I'll be at Zero Trust World alongside such Team SC members as Kimberly Can Fix It, Josh Mason, FedEx, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, Dennis Keefe, Marcus Kyler, and many, many more. Team SC at the Zero Trust World event next week. And obviously, shout out to Flare, love their platform, and Barricade Cyber Solutions. Guys, what? Barricade Cyber? I know them. I know Eric Taylor. Well, let me tell you about them. Did you know that Barricade Cyber Solutions is dedicated to helping businesses from cyber attacks and, more importantly, recover from the damage done? Cyber attacks, guys, they cause massive issues for businesses. They send dedicated, hardworking business owners, perhaps yourself, into absolute turmoil. But Barricade Cyber Solutions, they have the intelligence, the experience, and the knowledge to know how to mitigate the damage done by cyber incidents. They have a wealth of information, tons and tons of case study and experience from Akira to Lockbit. They've got you covered. Guys, go to barricadecyber.com, link in the description below, and check out what they're doing there. Again, I say it all the time. It's like a digital firefighter. You want to have this basic 911 at the ready in case you get popped. You don't want to be figuring out the day of, okay? Guys, I want to say shout out and thank you to all of you. My man Fleetus, he's been helping people with mentoring. He's got his own YouTube channel. He's been putting it out there on Fridays. He's showing up on the panel, and he's doing gifted subs. This guy is straight crushing it like a boss. I want to say shout out to all of you. Some of you who are, I see a lot of people recently who have been dormant or been away from the show for a little bit, getting back into it. Guys, once you're Team SC, you're always Team SC. We did miss you, but it's great to have you back. Let us know in chat if you've took some time off and you're back. We'd love to properly say welcome. And finally, I didn't say it in the intro, but if today is your first episode, if episode 813 is your first episode and you're still here, drop a hashtag first timer in chat. We love welcoming our first timers. We've got a special sound effect and a special emote. Now, every day of the week has a special segment, and Thursdays is my favorite. This guy right here, this is Dan Reardon pointing at you, a.k.a. Haircut Fish in chat, and he makes a custom meme. Now, if you're a regular of the show, you will know that I hung out with Casually Joseph in real life a couple weeks ago, and we got some beers, we played Magic the Gathering, which is a cool, fun card game at a bar, and we were supposed to have fun. We were supposed to be chumming it up. We were supposed to be making memories that we can look back on fondly, and instead, Casually Joseph brought a paddle, bent me over his knee, and proverbially spanked me in a way that is absolutely, you know what? We did make a memory just for all the wrong reasons. So Haircut Fish captured this moment in the best way possible. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your meme of the week. There we go. Casually Joseph, Power Gamer. He's a legendary creature. You tap him 4 mana, and you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, which is a super powerful move, and one that Casually Joseph did. So, ladies and gentlemen, Casually Joseph officially canon in Magic the Gathering. All right. Love it, love it, love it. So, hey, I do want to say, Alpha Sierra and others, please get ready for the la 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 la's. Let's go, let's go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Let's get back into it and finish strong, everybody. Thank you, Dan.
Scientists from Heriot-Watt University, NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, MIT, and the University of Glasgow have created a superconducting LiDAR system that captures ultra-detailed 3D data from up to 1 kilometer away.
Oh, that's what we need.
Using a superconducting nanowire single photon detector, it traces single photons with 13 picosecond accuracy and sees through fog and smoke. It's at least 10 times better at image resolution than existing systems, even in daylight. There is a catch. It needs to be cooled to minus 272 degrees Celsius to work properly, though the team says they developed a compact cryo cooler to solve that. President.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to see what the value is here. Basically, it is a radar system, I guess, kind of. And they've had LiDAR for a while. I've heard of LiDAR. It's kind of like radar, I think, except light. And it says it can ID a face at 1 kilometer away. Again, yeah, the LiDAR's been around since the 60s, right? Back when retro futuristic was hot, right? Where you're going to have, I I always kind of, whatever, that's a Tidbits Tuesday. Remind me, Tidbits Tuesday next week, retro futuristic is kind of a thing I kind of like here. Now it says identify a face from a kilometer away. I don't know what the use case is here. For me personally, I see two use cases on this. Neither of them are cyber related. Like this story, I got to tell you, I feel like it's more academic gymnastics for me up here to pull some cyber value. Like I almost feel like I'm being like punked, where the stories are intentionally designed for me to have to feng shui my way through this thing, or not feng shui, I don't know, feng shui or kung fu my way through this thing. So here's the deal. This is a privacy story, okay? And the military application for this, for sure, is that if you're in a plane or whatever, and it's foggy, or there's some type of, you throw a smoke grenade somehow, and you're moving troops or you're moving tanks through, you could use this system to scan and be like, oh, it's tanks, not cars, okay? We need to, so intelligence is important. Now, the really scary implication for this is that it can identify a human face specifically from a kilometer away. And Chris Whitlock in Mod Chat suggests this as a great use case. If you have a drone 1 kilometer up in the sky, or let's say half a kilometer in the sky, so you can't really see it, but it's got this system, you can quickly scan, let's say, a military base and find whoever the VIP is, right? Who the VIP is, and you could do a precision attack on that person. If you're in a crowd and there's protesters or whatever, and you're looking for the ringleader, the linchpin of the protest, you could use this to do that, right? So it's not necessarily privacy in the sense that if you're in a public space, but it is that you could identify someone that way. We're already seeing use cases of facial recognition being used in kind of a weaponized state. And I'll just share this with you, and then we'll move on to the next story again, because this is so not cyber. But the Madison Square Garden has this technology, not LiDAR, but Madison Square Garden lawyer facial recognition. Check this story out. This is from January 2023, so we're about 2 years ago. This story hit the friggin' whatever you want to call it. Come on. So the owner of Madison Square Garden is being sued, or was being sued by somebody, okay? So let's just say I'm suing DJ Bisek and I own Madison Square Garden. Well, DJ Bisek's lawyers, who are not my adversary, not suing me, but just the tools that I've hired to sue DJ Bisek, Madison Square Garden was doing facial recognition for whatever reason, and the lawyers bought tickets to the Rockettes show. So legitimately paid for tickets and went as part of a Girl Scout field trip. So nothing to do with lawyers, nothing to do with law, nothing to do with the lawsuit, nothing to do with this client case. And they absolutely found them. As soon as the person went through, scanned their face and said, nope, this is on the ban list. And they kicked her out of the event, which she had bought tickets for. So right or wrong, this is an application where that's being done. I also want to point out, I don't know if you've traveled in the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months, but if you go through TSA, they do a facial recognition, and that's how they validate you are who you are and that you're not on some type of watch list. So that's what's up.
Trump is nominating Sean Cairncross, the RNC's Chief Operating Officer, as his National Cyber Director. If confirmed, Cairncross would play a key role in shaping the administration's cyber policy. This would be the first major cybersecurity nomination of Trump's administration. The office of the National Cyber Director was established right before former President Biden took office and advises the president on cybersecurity matters. Cairncross has no known cybersecurity experience, but has held various roles in the first Trump administration. His nomination requires Senate confirmation. A new report from
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. This guy kind of looks like he's like a C tier actor, but he looks like him to me. This guy, you know, the guy he was like a pirate, I think, in a Dodgeball movie. I also think he was in Firefly. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? He looks like that guy. Anyways, thank you, Bruise and Hacks. I made a mistake. Yeah. All right. So, guys, this guy, RNC executive Sean Carencross, you know, like they say in the story, this guy doesn't have any direct experience in cyber. Let me point out two things. One, whoever the cyber director is, the national cyber director, that person isn't sitting at a keyboard. Okay. Like, spoiler, they're an executive. They're interfacing. So, you know, it is what it is. Secondly, I got to tell you, no, not that guy. I got to tell you, I really appreciate that we are getting somebody appointed to national cyber director. Imagine if the story said, you know, current administration eliminates national cyber director role. So, you know, I appreciate that we're getting someone in there, and we're starting to move forward on that. Only 2 people have been confirmed for the role, Chris Inglis and Harry Coker Jr., who came up through the National Security Agency, or NSA, which is really, really where you would think that. Now, this guy was previously the CEO of Millennium Challenge Corporation, a foreign aid agency that works with developing countries on economic growth through reduce poverty. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. You know, here's one other thing I got to tell you. Like, sometimes it's about surrounding yourself with the right people, right? So someone in leadership, maybe their job is more to get the right people in place and just make sure that the machine stays greased and, you know, well-oiled and moving. I hope that that's what's happening in this instance. So we'll keep going, though.
Paratech reveals that nearly 59,000 Americans lost about $697.3 million to romance scams in 2024. Although cases dropped by 6% from 2023, so that's trending the right way, financial losses remain high. Arizona had the highest rate of scams per capita. California led in total losses with 104.8 million from 6,687 cases. Scammers are increasingly using cryptocurrency and what is known as a double-barreled scam, posing as a romantic partner before pushing fake crypto investments. Comparatech estimates that total financial damage from romance scams could exceed $535 billion. Seattle.
Gee, take a break. Take a breath there. All right. So, hey, really quickly, just a quick point out here. If you want a double barrel, not romance scam, but try to get lulled into investing in crypto, do say hello to Justin Gold. He's entered the chat. That guy's going to the moon. I'm joking. I hyperbolically lean into that. But yeah, J Crypto. All right. Romance scams, guys, these things suck. Okay. If you've ever received a text message from, you know, some random phone number, hey, like, left your golf clubs in my car. Hey, are we still on for dinner Thursday night? Hey, just hello. Like, some of these scammers are so lazy that they just like say hello. That is a pig butchering scheme, and that's kind of one version of romance scams. Romance scams. Here's the deal. Romance scams make close to $1 billion a year. So it is going to continue to happen. What is absolutely filthy disgusting about this is that the scammers and the criminals are exploiting loneliness, exploiting emotion, and tricking people into doing this. Also, I want to point out some people who fall for romance scams are embarrassed because they can't believe they fell for it, and they will not tell anyone that they fell for it. Some people will fall for romance scams, and I know this is going to be hard to believe, but some people will fall for it, and even if you tell them it's a scam, they won't believe you, right? I've told this story a couple times, but I gave a talk last year. Someone came up to me. Well, someone called me after the talk because I make myself available for follow-up. And they said, hey, I got a question. I don't know what to do. My aunt is definitely involved with a scammer. We have definitely, or my mother, it was one of those. And she's sending all sorts of money to this person. We know it's a scam. We've told her it's a scam. She doesn't believe us, and we don't know what to do. What can we do? And, basically, I mean, everything I suggested, that like, we already tried that. And where we left it was they were going to go to the courts and arrest power over her finances from her to take control of it, to basically prevent her from doing it. And she's of sound mind, but the argument they were going to make in the courts was that she's lost her mind, basically, because she's giving this money away to a criminal. So like that's how wrapped around the axle you can be on these things. So just educate your end users, make them aware of pig butchering schemes, make them aware of romance scams. Also, for you personally, guys, I always say, like, the most effective way to modify someone's behavior is to personalize the lesson. I'm telling you right now, guys, sadly, very sad, the older population, not say elderly, but like, let's say 65 and up, they have, some of them have amassed a lifetime of wealth, so they have money, or they're retired and they're getting some money. They also don't really understand technology, and couple that with the fact that sometimes you've lost your life partner, your spouse, your life partner, whatever, and your kids, they're busy with their own life, or they've moved away, or whatever, and this population is lonely. And when someone reaches out with, love or compassion or any type of, engagement, it's very appealing, right? So just, be mindful of that. Like, if you've moved one of your parents into an assisted living, or you haven't called one of your parents in a while, and this isn't like, be sure to call your mother. Like, this is like legit. Like, if you have kind of, I don't want to say abandoned, but, it's always not a good time to call or reach out. Be aware that is like the sweetest target for these criminals, and why they're making so much friggin' money. Because, unfortunately, fellowship, companionship, engagement, it's a human desire. So just be mindful of that. Anyways.
Name Tag has launched Verified Hire, an identity verification and deepfake defense tool to combat North Korean espionage in U.S. and global enterprises. The company says North Korean operatives have infiltrated remote IT jobs through front companies, generating over $88 million to fund the regime. Verified Hire uses automated identity verification to secure employee onboarding and prevent contractor fraud. It integrates with IAM providers like Okta and Microsoft Entra, offering customizable workflows that save time and cost for IT and HR departments. Google has...
All right. Okay, here we go. So this is interesting. North Korea has been like really pushing hard into getting jobs, in Western kind of philosophy type countries. KnowBe4 was in the news not too long ago, famously as having hired someone from North Korea and then figuring it out right away. Good for KnowBe4. But so there's a business problem out there, which means if you're business savvy, then, there's a market for that. There's a demand. So now you come up with a solution and you can sell it. And it sounds like Name Tag's done it. The one thing I would point out here is you have to scan your ID and do a selfie, which is fine. Some people will push back on this. I've had individuals, especially in more rural areas. Again, I'm not judging. I'm just noting from my professional experience. What I'm about to tell you seems to crop up more in rural areas than city areas. But I've had people push back in rural areas when you ask them to install like Microsoft Authenticator on their phone for multi-factor authentication. Like very, very like privacy focused and like not, not on my phone, like, or no, like, we're not doing that here, or, like, just whatever. So if you're asking them to, first of all, download an app to their phone called name tag. Second of all, take a picture of their license and then scan their face, you may get some pushback. The one thing that's probably going to save this from that is that if you're doing this, that means you're trying to get a job, which means you're in a bit of a position of weakness where you're willing to comply with the hiring company because you want that job, you want that money.
Straight cash, homie.
I do like this. What I will say also, though, is like, this is a fine thing, but think about this for a second. In the know before one, or at least in, maybe not the know before one, but in ones that I have seen, actually, hold on, let me pull it up right now. North Korea, US. All right, I think, yeah, it was a Tennessee man. August 8th, 2024. Tennessee man arrested for allegedly using IT worker scheme to raise money for North Korea weapons program. So even if you have this solution, where is it? Even if you have this solution, North Korea is not stupid. So they've actually kind of like sorted out a way to have U.S. citizens kind of be the face or the front of these things. So when you're, oh, hey, here's what I look like. The Tennessee person's license, Tennessee person's face, it's all going to pass mustard. And then they're going to mail the laptop to the Tennessee person. All that Tennessee person does is put the laptop on their home network and then allow North Korea to VPN into it. So like, this is a fine solution, but it doesn't, really solve the problem. It does talk about dealing with deep fake and looking for deep fake anomalies. That's another thing to point out really quickly. If you're wondering, at least in 2024, I can say with some certainty, but I can't say right now. But if I look at a deep fake, I might not be able to tell. If a computer looks at a deep fake, it can tell because, like, it's just like not being able to see steganography versus a computer seeing steganography. Like, a computer can see where the stitching of the face is placed over the model's head, which would basically indicate that there is some anomalies to the graphic itself, and that's how it detects a deepfake. So I'm sure that's what they're doing here, guys, if you didn't know. Also, DJ Bisek coming in hot with the, plus here on this particular story. This one's where an Arizona woman created a laptop farm in her home to help fake IT workers pose as US-based employees. And she was able to generate over $17 million for herself and North Korea. So
you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
So that's what's up, guys. Cool! Guys, I'm telling you right now, this isn't 1950 where it's all about patriotism, right? It's 2025.
Straight cash, homie.
People are dealing with inflation. People are dealing with layoffs. People are dealing with increased, like, things cost more. Have you seen the price of eggs, right? And now that has nothing to do with the government. That has to do with the bird flu. But my point is, $17 million is a lot of money. But, like, dude, people are susceptible to coercion and stuff like that. All right, let's go. Triple D, I think you had a misfire on the keyboard there.
Fixed 2 vulnerabilities that could expose YouTube users' email addresses, posing a big privacy risk for any creator who wishes to remain anonymous. The flaws were discovered by security researchers Brutecat and Nathan and involved leaking Gaia IDs through YouTube's live chat API and converting them into email addresses using Pixel Recorder's sharing feature. The issues, which impacted multiple Google services, were first disclosed last September and patched on February 9th. Google awarded the researchers $10,633 in bounty and confirmed no evidence of exploitation.
Cool. Okay, so Bruise and Hacks. Here, can we flag that for jawjacking? I just flagged it, DJ BSEC. All right, so check it out really quickly. Security research. This is a pretty cool one. This is definitely on brand for what we're doing right now, because essentially what these security researchers were able to do is, like, Triple D, Jim Lund, Bruce and Hex. They were able to use basically the API into the chat feature, which is what you guys are using right now, to be able to do a lookup of like Jim Lund and get the email, the Google mail address of the account Jim Lund's using. Which, you know, maybe you want to be private and you didn't want that out there, whatever. You know, mine, if you go to my channel and you contact Jerry, like the email address pops up, right? So Jesse Johnson's in chat. Good morning, Jesse Johnson. All right. So, these two vulnerabilities, they got paid $10,000 each. I guess a couple things to point out. Number one, be aware that, you know, you can get some notoriety and you can make some sweet, sweet cash doing security research. And APIs are all over the place, guys. APIs are application programming interfaces, and they basically allow you to write software to extend an interface with back-end systems to do things, right? Make your own stuff, webhooks you may have heard of, etc. This is Google Gaia IDs. I've never heard of a Gaia ID before. It sounds like it's basically like a unique identifier for a user on Google's platform. The issue that they're pointing out here is obviously one of privacy. So if you're this is whatever. So they're saying here, like, oh, if you're like an investigative journalist or you're a whistleblower and you're using YouTube as your platform to deliver that information, then people could use this exploit to find your your email address, your real email address. Okay, like really quickly. That's a little piece of information. And again, I'm not discounting the security research. I think from a technical execution, awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Do all that. But think about the impact here really quickly, right? So I'm Dog Pack 404, that guy who like basically outed Mr. Beast for all of his things. I don't know if you guys subscribe to that or whatever, but he was like a former Mr. Beast employee, and he came out with all this different evidence to support that Mr. Beast is like, you know, a bad guy. If you use this hack to find his email address, you just have his email address. What do you do with that? Like, it's not like you can access all his things now. You can't go on his YouTube channel and delete his content. You can't find where he lives. You'd have to do additional research. Now it's a piece of information, and you could use it to go look on other places and, you know, extend your OSINT recon. But the impact is a little bit less than, you know, like, it's not like by using this API lookup, you can find like the full name, social, you know, address, and like current GPS location. So just with things like this, it's very cool. Again, I'm not taking away from the researchers, but I just want to point out, you should always kind of think through the so what with the actual impact of whatever the flaw is that's being exploited. Okay. All right, let's keep going. I think that's it.
For the past few years,
Yes, that is it. Hello, let's go. Okay, so that's going to do it for today's show. Don't go anywhere because we have jaw-jacking with my friend DJ Bisek behind the glass. He is a network engineer, and he's kind of like, I don't know, for better or worse, he's working towards basically becoming a GRC person. We're going to bring him over, GRC Mafia. DJ Bisek, newest member, hashtag GRC Mafia. Guys, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I want to remind everybody that at 9:30 a.m. today, Season 2, Episode 6, these guys have been cranking John Hoyt and Steve Hegarita, CISO at Clemson and SOC manager at Clemson. A lot of experience here. A totally focused podcast on mentoring. You're going to want to learn this one. Tools and Skills for Security Analysts, Part 2. People were clamoring after Part 1 for Part 2. These guys are bringing the heat. You don't want to miss it, believe me. Also, remember that later today at 4:30 p.m., we are going to have Ross Helick. I definitely butcher his name on. for Simply Cyber Fireside. So that's at 4:30 p.m. today. Stay with us. You're going to love it. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Let's go get DJ Bisek and get into the jaw jacking. All I got to say is, guys, if you want answers to your questions, drop them in chat, and DJ Bisek's going to blow your mind. I'm going to go teach at the Citadel. Guys, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Appreciate all of you. Hashtag Team SC. Thank you, and I'll see you later today at 4:30 p.m. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
Good morning, everybody. We've got about 21 minutes of questions before the other stream pops on. Jerry's already let everybody know we've got part 2 coming up at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central for the cybersecurity mentors. So let's go ahead. Let's take about 20 minutes or so. Let's answer some questions, and then we'll hop over there and see part 2. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and turn on some music, which we all know is going to make my mic drop a little bit, and we will answer all these questions. Hopefully everybody can still hear me. Let's see. I know there was one pin question earlier. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one up, and I'm going to pin these other ones that are in here. All right. The first question was asking about, Jerry was talking about earlier about deep fakes and being able to decipher like stitching on the head or basically being fake, and the computer being able to figure that out. And then Bruce and Hex was asking if this happened and they use a virtual camera. Like right now, I'm using OBS virtual camera. So the virtual camera is taking everything that I've got on in OBS and piping it out to Restream. So what you see is actually a quote unquote camera of my screen, not the actual original images, right? So what Bruce and Hex is asking is, if we were to use a virtual camera, would the computer be able to decipher, which is basically like a picture inside of a picture inside of a picture, be able to decipher that image? And I don't have a great answer for you, but my understanding would be that it would still be able to figure out pixelation, pixels in there. Like my camera is really, you can tell my camera is actually really sharp. And if it was not my head and it was right here and had something on there, then maybe you could train that to figure that out. So I would say yes, more than likely it will be able to figure that stuff out. But all that's going to be is training, right? So it's going to be training the actual AI to understand or to see the differences in there. Like, you know, is this color different from this color, different from this color, and so forth in the pixelation. Where's our next question? All right, next question. I need help writing a risk. Global company. I need help writing a risk. Global company has cloud solution that will process highly sensitive data in the EU and not willing to move the customer tenant to the US, though it is available. You need, so is the company in the US? If the company is in the US, I don't understand why they wouldn't put all the information into the US. That being said, even if it's in the US, you're still going to have to abide, if it's EU individuals, you still have to abide by GDPR, right? There is still some of that has to be especially if you're using that information. So there's a lot to that. And help writing the risk, if you've never written one before, or you don't have any information, honestly, for something like this, a global company, they need to get counsel involved when they're doing something like this. This has to go through, and it's got to meet all different criteria and so forth. If you're just trying to put something together quick and easy to say, hey, look, if you don't do it here, or if you do it over here, then it's going to be less risk on us versus doing it over here. That's one thing, but that's not something that you're going to put in as a policy. You have to get counsel involved. You're going to have to make sure that it's, lockstep and set up for the company itself. You can't have you can't just go and create a risk right off the bat. Let's see, company is global but headquartered outside. And the other thing is if they're headquartered outside the US, so here's the second part of this. If they're headquartered outside the US, they may have to abide by the laws in which the headquarters is at, right? So there's a whole bunch of different things in here. Is participating in bug bounties or CTFs important for a SOC career? Or should I start learning tools to develop the necessary skills? The necessary skills for which part? For bug bounties and CTFs or for the SOC career? You don't need bug bounties and CTFs to have a successful SOC career. Bug bounties and CTFs, which I wouldn't even... Bug bounties it's a completely different type of quote-unquote career, right? That's something... In fact, if you ever talk with Tyler Ransby, he's done some bug bounty CVE stuff. He's got CVEs, right? That doesn't make you a great person in the SOC. CTFs are fun. They allow you to use gymnastics in your mind, right? Trying to figure out what you can do, what you can't do, how you're going to get into something, how you're not going to get into something. That can help you out in the SOC because you could see, maybe you see something that's going on that you've done before, right? Maybe you've got an Apache web server that you're monitoring, and then all of a sudden you see something pop up through maybe through an alert that that you're familiar with because you've done a CTF where you did that, and then you go, "Oh, wait a second, what's going on here?" So yes, that could help. It's not important to be part of a SOC to be in the SOC. All right, Logan, I have an interview for IT security analyst. What are some follow-up questions I should be asking? So before you go into the interview, you need to know the company, not know the company inside and out, but you need to be familiar with the company, what the company does, be familiar with the people that you're going to work with. So if you're going for a security analyst at company A, look up company A, do some OSINT on the company, understand what they do, maybe try and find the IT people or the security people that work there, maybe read through their stuff. That way you can create a conversation. Everybody needs to remember that when you have an interview, the interview is more like you got the interview because your resume showed that you have the skills on paper to do it. Now you're going to walk in and you need to be able to back up those skills and talk about that. But you also need to be able to have a conversation with the people that are there, right? Being able to have that conversation and being able to sit there calmly and be able to talk about things, talk about what that you're here and watching the daily cyber threat brief. Those are big deals because people across they can say, oh, this person is actually this person actually likes or is entranced with what's going on in cybersecurity, right? They like what's going on. You can tell that they want to be here versus somebody that's just looking for a job. Follow-up questions, depending on what they ask. I mean, what does their day-to-day look like? What do, as a security analyst, what are the other people? Are there other security analysts there? What do they do all day long? Is it, do you get in at 8 o'clock and you're off at 5 o'clock and you don't have anything to do? Or is it, the work hours are 8 to 5, but sometimes something happens and you're there at 7 and you're there until 8 o'clock at night. I would not bring up, a lot of people think, oh, well, let's go into a salary and start talking about salary. I wouldn't bring any of that stuff up. Just make it an easy conversation with them. What do you think the landscape will look like for the coming year for up and coming InfoSec leaders? And we've been saying this for years. For those that are up and coming as in a leadership role, you're really going to have to dive. In my mind, you're going to have to dive into AI and understand what's going on with AI. You're going to have to be able to build policies and procedures around AI internal in a company, but you're also going to have to be able to put policies and procedures in place for your employees or the company employees that will be using AI, right? You're going to have to put some strings on what they can and can't do, and you're going to have to put in place repercussions, right? So if you find somebody, if you have a developer and you find that the developer is over on a free version of ChatGPT or in DeepSeek and they're copying and pasting all their code out there, maybe there's some repercussions there. Not just a slap on the wrist, but maybe something a little bit harder, because we shouldn't be doing that stuff, right? The threat landscape over the past couple of years has just grown, right? Everybody was dealing with, you would hear mainly like phishing or BECs, business email compromise and stuff like that, which you still do a lot, but you're now getting into the point to where you have the ability of those threat actors being able to use AI to create BECs or to create phishing messages that look great, that can get past, specific things. They can get past DKIM, they can get past SPF, like things get passed through, and our users were being tricked 5 or 6 years ago on phishing messages, and we got them away from that. And now the messages look like they're real messages. So they're going to be tricked even more. So I think as a leader, as somebody in a corporation, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to be able to have that forethought of what's that next compromise look like? Where's that going to come from? And try and be that stop gate in front of it. There you go. Fleetus has a good one. Make sure you're asking thought-provoking questions. That's 100% where to go with this. Don't just ask a question of, like, hey, what do you like to do? Ask questions back to them that you actually want to hear an answer to, right? Have you guys done something along this line? Have you guys done this? What do you guys do on a day-to-day basis? That way there is a conversation between the two of you, and it's not just a yes and no or a one-line answer. You want answers that are given back that create a discussion. Let's see what this one says. To piggyback off of Logan's question, would it be valuable to create a mock risk assessment for the company into the interview? I mean, yes, you could. You'd have to go you'd have to dive a little bit deeper into what the company does, right? So if the company's if it's a bank or something and their financials, then yeah, maybe you can come in and create. The problem with that is you're not coming in to give them a presentation on what risks they may or may not have. More than likely, you're coming in to help them, and they know what the risks are, and that would be something on down the line that you may help out with. I mean, walking into an interview with a full-on risk assessment or with for the company might be a little overkill. Might actually give them a little bad taste in their mouth. I'm in my 60s and thinking about learning networking technology. Is that a good move or not, considering the way tech is headed? So the question I would ask is, why are you wanting to learn network technology? Are you just wanting to learn it because you want to learn it? Or are you looking to move forward into some type of networking career? Or are you trying to move into a security career or IT career? I need to know a little bit more about that. Networking connects everything, right? So it's always good to understand the underlying knowledge of networking. Even in security, even in help desk, it's always good to know how something connects, right? So for instance, even a help desk analyst needs to understand how a computer and how a network works. Because if you have somebody that just puts a message into the help desk and they're trying to get to a website, and when they go to pull it up, it doesn't open up. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean that their computer is no longer connected to the network? It's not getting out to the internet? Does it mean that DNS is down? Does it mean that they were kicked off the Wi-Fi, so they're not connected they're not connected locally, but the internet for the whole company is up? I mean, there's a lot of troubleshooting involved with that. So just understanding how networks work and being able to having that base knowledge helps go a long way, for sure. All right, I don't know. Apparently, I made a good point. I don't know what good point I made, but that's good. I like at least making at least one good point while I'm on here. Any other questions? I don't see any other questions in here. Hopefully, I'm answering them sufficiently. I've got all these pinned. Let me see what we got. I may have missed a couple. Participating in the CTFs, I got that one. I have an interview, I got that one. The piggyback, I got that one. I got that one. I think there is one that I missed. Looks like I missed Dennis Keefs. I heard someone mentioning the LLM White Rabbit Neo for DevSecOps. Are you familiar with it? Ooh, I am not. What is the White Rabbit Neo? Hold on. Is it like something? Are we going to go down a rabbit hole if we find this? Let's see. White Rabbit. The leading open source uncensored AI model for DevSecOps teams. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into this. Here, let me pull this up over here so I can show everybody. This is an interesting. So the leading open source uncensored AI model for DevSecOps, White Rabbit Neo. Use it for free. This is an open source uncensored AI DevSecOps. White Rabbit Neo is the leading model to drive generated AI value for DevSecOps teams. Automate your manual SecOps. Oh, there's a Discord too. Interesting. I'll have to look into this. Thanks for that, Dennis. I wonder if it's just code. Here's the deal with this. This might be cool and all, but now that I'm thinking about it, I want to know where, like, is this hosted local? Because if it's not hosted local and you have a DevSecOps team that's just dumping all their code into there, that could be a, what is this? How to carry out DDoS attack? That could be problemsome. While the foundation AI models are from OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and Meta, sensors are outputs in many security cases. White Rabbit Neo is uncensored and trained to act like a modern adversary. It has a deep knowledge, threat intelligence software. Huh. I'm gonna have to look into this. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna put that copy and paste that, star that one. Set that up in the background. All right, we got about 3 minutes left before we hop over to part 2 of the Cyber Mentors. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. That way I get the link. So Shane has asked if I used the SOCSIM for Try Hack Me. I have not yet. I did have somebody reach out to me about it, but I have not heard. I've not done it yet. That may be something that I look at on down the line. I had somebody reach out wanting me to look at it. That's something that's on the list, but I've got something else. I've got a couple other things I'm doing prior to doing that one. I was wondering if the Houston meetup took place. Do you know? I have not heard of any Houston meetup. Nobody has reached out to me about a Houston meetup or area meetup. Did somebody put something in Discord about a Houston meetup? I have not seen it. All right, here is the link. We got about a minute and maybe a minute and a half or so. Here's the link to let's see, Tools and Skills for Security Analysts, Part 2, Cybersecurity Mentors Podcast, Season 2, Episode 6. I'm going to put it, it's going to come in under Jerry's name, and I'll put it in under mine as well. That way it comes through 2 times. We are going to raid over there in about a minute and a half or so. If anybody's got any last questions, let me know. And I'll see if we can answer them real quick. If not, then we will probably drop off and go bounce over to the other side. I already see a couple of people already popping in on the podcast over there. We've got about starts at 8:30, so we got about 3 minutes to the premiere, but I don't want to do it right on time. I'd like to give everybody a minute or so to go jump over there, maybe go grab a drink or something, and that way you can sit down and watch and be entertained by Season 2, Episode 6 of the Cybersecurity Mentors Podcast. All right, looks like all our questions have been answered for today. We don't have time to grab any more. So I'm going to go ahead and in the stream, we're going to bounce over to the Tools and Skills for a SOC Analyst, Part 2 for the Cybersecurity Mentors on the Cybersecurity Mentors Podcast for Season 2, Episode 6. Everybody, I hope everybody has a great day today. They've got a couple minutes for the next one to start. As always, we will be here tomorrow morning for the daily cyber threat brief. And then after that, we will have a couple of individuals. Not sure who's going to be on there, but we'll have a panel. So everybody, you'll have multiple people answering questions. Jerry will probably be there. Maybe Eric, maybe myself, maybe Fleetus, maybe Joseph. Who knows? We may have special guests pop in. Have no clue. But with that said, I am going to be out of here and head off to work. Hopefully everybody has a great and safe day. As always, you guys stay secure, and we will see you tomorrow.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning.